that we should make sure that they're safe. The beer tent is a different deal, but the parade, the kids, the band festivals, all the people that come to our city, and we love it. It's a lot of work and a lot of expense, but it's our party. It's our promoting our community and our culture, and we should put a dime in on it.
So I guess I would like.
One at a time, please.
I'm done.
Okay, we'll let Mr. Hopkins speak.
Sure.
Well, mine, I think if we're going to have the community pay for this and the taxpayers, after some of the feedback I've heard from multiple members of our community in the last few years after all the feuding, some of them don't want anything to do with the words red flannel, and they will not come to an event that has the words red flannel on it. So in my opinion, if we're going to have our taxpayers pay for it, it should go back on the ballot. This once was on the ballot before, and it got voted down that not just red flannel, but
Yeah, I was going to say no.
other events. Like, we don't put money, we have $0.00 for the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. We have $0.00 for Halloween. There's nothing in the category for Easter. You know, are we saying that's more important than some of these other things? And what we put towards one festival or one event, we're going to need to be willing to do that for any other community event in town, and where are we going to get that money?
Okay.
So putting it back on the ballot for asking for a millage for it is probably going to be our safest avenue and most ethical avenue as stewards of the city. We can't just say, yeah, we're going to take your tax money and we're going to do that, even though once before this was turned down. And
Well, this, to be clear, this was not turned down.
the millage was turned down.
Are you, any other comment?
That's well, on to the thing about having to have majority vote. I don't
change.
Right.
That's what I'm looking for direction
Right.
to go back to our committee.
Mr. Mayor, this is the preliminary. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
As I said in the workshop, you know, if the city, if the council wishes to financially support Red Flannel, that's fine. My concerns are that as this is presented, there's no way to determine the costs.
Right.
And secondarily, there's no provisions for cost containment at all. So we're going in proposing, I know it's a draft, but proposing to enter an agreement where we don't know what the costs are, and that there's no ceiling on what the costs may be in the future. I'm extremely concerned about the provision that would require a unanimous vote of councils in the future to get out of the agreement. And in my mind, you know, that could be problematic if there, you know, something changes. The financial situation changes of the city, or the scope of the festival changes, and it becomes a financial burden. And requiring a unanimous vote is going to be tough, and would, in my mind, leave the city really only two options to get out of the agreement if they wanted to, and that would be, one, just not honoring the agreement, which would, I'm certain, precipitate a lawsuit. And second, the only other option would be the council just saying you can't have red flannel in town, which is not a good option either. So, you know, I would recommend that the council address those issues. Also, if we're going to run into an agreement, we should have a requirement for an annual report, much like we require Skinner, and I'm suggesting for the museum. The section 2A, where it talks about by August 1st, they would submit a plan, and we have 15 days to turn it around and say yea or nay. That's pretty difficult for us to do, and just in talking with the sheriff's department, he guaranteed me that no way.
So 30 days?
But it's at minimum 30 days, and I would like to see them even present the plan in advance of August 1st. So something to take back and discuss.
Well, we have several points here now that we need to address.
Yeah, and then the other was in 2B3. It says that all labor costs with provision of public services necessary to festival's operations, and that the Red Flannel would provide this to the city, a written estimate of the cost. I don't know how they're gonna determine that, it's kind of backwards.
Okay,
That needs
I
to
think
be-
I think that wording is
Yeah.
probably
You need
not
to-
correct.
I would suggest you look at that. And finally, on 2B, it does stipulate that without limiting the foregoing, the city's cost for the provision of police, fire, and medical services. So this does include the police.
Okay.
We
I think, because we pulled it from the previous contract.
Right. And that, that was, yeah, so maybe that was, but I just wanted to clarify
Sure.
that does include the cost for policing services, which right now are on a contractual basis.
Right.
So, some things that I would recommend that the council address, but again, in terms of, they're all issues of, in my mind, of great significance.
Yeah, that we have item 5 on terms, we need to discuss that, take that back.
Well, that's why I'm looking for a list of things that council has concerns about to take back to have this conversation again with the committee.
One more thing. Perry, I agree with you. If you get somebody in here that can create a festival, for 75 years, brings in thousands of people, 40, 50,000 people, I would agree that we should help that festival with police, DPW, public safety. I'm all for it.
Yeah, we don't have any dealings with police now, so we typically services from within. So, but we've got these facts that we need to have the committee readdress, hopefully with.
Okay, so I need to, just to clarify, the 30-day, it should be, we're looking for 30, probably not 15?
Minimum 30.
Okay. The estimate of cost language needs to be reworked, and the amount of votes for retracting the contract, and then we need dollar amounts.
Right, initial cost plus a ceiling for the cost containment.
And I think maybe part of it is, I guess I'm asking, do you think that the historical amounts that we've budgeted in the past for in-kind services is appropriate to cover
We're
it?
only using DPW, we won't be using, the city won't be financing any of the traffic control or the parade or any kind of the police department.
Because we didn't have a number, because we weren't really sure what that number's supposed to look like.
Well, I think we first need to come up with a number, let's say, from the DPW, what it would be, and then we can apply that, and we can go from there.
And we never know that number until we know what I call the footprint, or the scope of it. And that's why, minimum 30 days turnaround time, and it's possible to get the footprint scope to the city before August 1st. So we
Sure.
have sufficient time to talk through whatever the scenario is for the final festival.
Yeah, Dave, I would ask the festival what's expected, what do they, and that will give the scope or the footprint of the requirement.
So should we make this contract, should we have it outlined specifically, the DPW services?
Well, it'd be any in kind for the city.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Should we say like hanging the red flannels or putting out barricades, or do we need to outline those things?
Well, what we have to do is, we're not going to know until we know
What they want.
what they want.
Okay.
Let's go from there. We
Okay.
need to find out what they expect.
I'm trying to figure out what questions to ask.
That's why it's, in my mind, imperative that we get that scope well in advance and sufficient time to review so we can sit with them and say, if this is what you want, we can cost it out for you.
Yeah, this is the first draft. so
Yeah,
we'll
and
consider
they don't have a problem with putting a number on it. We just know what that number should look like.
that. Correct.
And is it possible that we could ask them to give us the numbers before we have our budget?
They will have to get with the city to get the scope of what's required before they can give us a number, or we can give them.
Right, they don't know what it costs to put out a barricade.
Well, that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Possible.
Well, once we get that number, the city would would know what's expected, and then they could give them a cost, and then we can go from there.
Because what we simply know is what was budgeted in the past when this used to be the way it was done. And it was anywhere between $5,200 and $5,400. Dan actually did, I wish he was here, because he like came in with the ream and stuff. But, he had the breakdown on like what the city had done for in-kind services previously. And I'm guessing we're gonna be in the same neighborhood, but I don't,
Since I've been here, we've never charged the red flannel anywhere near $1,500.
no, it's what was budgeted in the DPW and the police, back when it was police, and so on, for that, as an in-kind service off. Not what we actually charged the red flannel, before we were charging the red
And
flannel.
that must have predated me because we've
Yes.
done it that way.
Yes, it predates you.
All right, we'll get some more information and meet back with us and bring us some more information at next month.
I will be happy to do that.
Okay, moving on to item L. There's no further discussion on K, correct? Okay, discussion regarding the proposed trademark agreement between the city and Cedar Springs and Red Flannel Festival. I think that goes hand in hand with K. We won't know until we know what
Yeah,
we're required to do.
they are, for the record, though, offering all of them,
Okay?
not two. Previously, it was two,
And that's conditional, right?
on the in-kind services.
I'm thinking we should leave the trademarks out of that.
Okay.
Because we'll end up walking backwards.
So, are you suggesting we should just offer them in-kind services and?
Just work with them on the in-kind, if we're talking about supporting festivals and that, just work on in-kind services, because if we start using trademarks again, I don't know what it costs to change out everything with our police department when we had it, and the trucks, and the fire department patches and that. If we change our logo out again to this, then 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road, no, we're not doing this no more, all that's gotta be changed again.
So, just to be clear, you don't want the Red Flannel Festival logo on anything to do with the city?
I'm thinking of stepping backwards, that's my opinion.
Okay.
Wait, I think we don't even need to talk about the trademark agreement until we get a regular agreement or with the festival. So I think they'll go hand in hand and let it wash out as it comes.
Okay.
Sounds good? We won't know what we're gonna get until we know what we got. All right. Any other discussion on that? Hearing none. Item M, discussion regarding a welcome sign to be placed on the White Pine Trail.
I was interested and hoping we could have some kind of community recognition at our staging area for Welcome to Cedar Springs, Welcome to the City of Cedar Springs, something. And one thing I was hoping is that someone would take down that disgusting sign at Cherry and White Pine Trail. I don't know who it belongs to, but it's awful. I don't know, it's gotta go. Either that or I'm gonna have to go down and take it down myself.
Is that?
I don't know.
It's a sign that business has put up, I don't know who.
I thought that's been gone for a while.
Yeah.
It's a big wooden empty frame, and it's
Oh.
awful.
I know what you're talking about.
I don't know who it belongs to, do you, Sally?
We voted on it and all the businesses paid for it.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be being maintained.
It's not.
I was under the impression that sign is
Oh,
down.
If you guys are paying for it, why don't you know what it looks like? It's pathetic.
Okay.
Is it still there now?
All there is a wooden
Let's
board
check on
frame,
it and we'll find
empty,
out. Yep.
and it's been gone for 2-3 years now. Maybe it had a red flannel on it, so maybe
No.
to cut it down or something,
No.
tear it off.
No, but I'm working on the estimates for signs with design on a new wayfaring sign to go by the trail. I was under the impression that sign was gone.
All the stuff is gone. Right now, all there is a wooden frame,
All right.
something.
Yeah, it was put up by
Yeah,
Customary was
it's
pushed
trash.
that.
Yeah, I
Go
remember.
look at it.
Okay.
Ugh.
As ours, do we have it taken down?
it's ours, we can take it down.
Yeah, it was donated to the DDA.
Okay,
So it's not the city's.
you want it down?
Well, I'm gonna look at it,
Yeah, why
because if
not?
it is repairable,
It's trash.
it's gonna save us $510 if it's repairable.
Okay, I'll leave it up to you. If you
We'll let the
wanna leave
DDA
it,
look at it.
Yeah,
you
look
can,
at it.
okay, and look at it?
Yeah.
Report back to us at the next meeting, if you would, please.
Yep.
Thank you.
So if we could get an official welcome to Cedar Springs sign, maybe at the, yeah, I think if we have it in the staging area, we don't have to have a big discussion with
The White Pine Trail.
the White Pine Trail people, and
think-
just something to recognize the fact that
Yeah.
we put in that beautiful staging area, and you are in Cedar Springs.
I think too, we got a lot of things gonna happen on this national trail system, and the boardwalk and everything else, so that could all go hand in hand to make, when everybody comes together on that, let's just make one sign instead of several.
Yeah,
How's that, okay? All right, any other discussion on that? Hearing none. Mr. Perry, I appreciate it, and the doctor, thank you for doing that. Item N, motion to waive policy number 12 to act on a tree trimming cutting bids as first consideration. This is a motion for our tree trimming service that we do annually. I would entertain a motion to waive policy number 12.
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion we waive policy number 12 on the tree trimming cutting bids for first consideration.
There's support.
I'll support that.
Mrs. Powell, support. Is there discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. To waive policy number 12 on motion to approve a bid for quality tree service for trimming and/or removal city trees at a cost of not to exceed $6,700.
Can make that motion.
Is there support?
Support?
Discussion. Mr. Manager, any discussion?
Tom?
It's something we, because of budget constraints, we haven't done in the last 3 years, and we really have to get this done.
This control trims trees in the right of way only. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Hopkins?
Yes.
Excuse me, Mrs. Powell?
Yes.
Mrs. Conley?
Yes.
Mr. Hall votes yes, motion carries. Unbelievable. We're at item 10, the manager's report.
Reminder to council and the community that there is going to be the Open Meetings Act and Parliamentary Procedure Training on May 28th at 6:30 in council chambers. So please attend.
The public is also welcome.
It's a council meeting.
So the Open Meetings Act does apply, and all peoples are welcome to attend.
The fire department study, Solon Township did select a consultant. Earliest the consultant will be able to start working with us is late June into July, so a month or two. Cemetery, DPW have been concentrating on the cemetery, so we can have it looking wonderful for Memorial Day. Thank you. Speaking of Memorial Day, I'll be taking off the Friday beforehand as vacation day, and I will be available by phone or email. And also, City Hall will be closed on Monday, May 25th, in observance of Memorial Day. Again, this year, we're going to host the Clean Air Action display from the Grand Valley Metro Council. That will be here at City Hall beginning the 26th of May through the 1st of June. And on the 19th of May, I will be attending a suburban summit put on by MML at Fifth Third Ballpark, along with several members of the community and members of city boards. And it's going to focus on placemaking, economic development in communities in the downtown area, revitalization. It should be a very, I think, a very beneficial program, and MML does have a rich history of providing good training and programming. So that's my report.
Thank you, Manager, monthly department reports. Any questions? Go ahead.
comments, or anything specific you want to say about your report? It's in the,
I'm good. Let's get out of here.
Sergeant, anything specific? Nathan? Marty, anything
I
specific?
have a lot. I figured you would, come on up. No, I don't have anything. Want me to, excuse me, to pass on, we had our air packs flow tested today. 23 packs plus an extra mask, and they all passed with flying colors. That'll be in the summer sheet next month, but other than that, anything in the packet that I may address, otherwise I'm good.
Thank you. President, the clerk's reports in there as well, the finance director and the treasurer and all the additional reports. Unless council has a specific question, we'll let them stand.
Hearing none. We have boards and commissioners, Cedar Springs Library, and number 11, council comments. I'll start with you, Mrs. Powell.
Just glad to see everybody here, and good to see you back, Mr. Painter. It's been a while. And no complaints. Life is good to see the spring.
Thank you. Ms. Hopkins.
Well, I think everybody that came out and everybody that takes the time to watch the video online that couldn't make it here tonight. People that actually get involved and pay attention to what's going on in our community. And I want to thank our police department for the traffic study. You know, we did the last fall, we did the one northbound, we just got the southbound, and helps us with some of the things we're pending on. And I would like to encourage our taxpayers to give us feedback on these things that we've had on our plate for discussion. You know, you voted us in to make your decisions for you, but give us direction on it. So it's not just our 7, even though you're not all here tonight. But we need your feedback, whether you're stopping to see us, you know, send a letter to the city hall. I think we have that email thing, don't we?
Yeah. I'm going to we have.
Mrs. Conlon.
Thank you to Linda for running the election and making sure that everyone got the opportunity to vote. That's huge. And at the end of the day, one of our major responsibilities as the community is making sure that people get to vote. So thank you for making sure that happened. Very grateful for that. Thankful for everyone that shows up and makes all of this happen. And again, I reiterate what Mr. Hawkins said. Keep telling us about what you want to see happen, how you want to see the community move forward, and we will do our best to represent you.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone and all for being here. This has been a long agenda. We had a lot of items on the agenda tonight, and we cleared a lot of them off. I'm excited with what's happening in the community development team. There's exciting things happening. We're moving forward. We also need input from the residents. We do have on our city webpage an option to put something out there for a community vote. Is that still operational?
In terms of the survey?
Yeah, there was a questionnaire that we put on and people could answer to it. I don't know if that works anymore, but that's...
Making comments to, pose questions to us?
There was a question. We would post a question there, and the residents could vote pro or con, and it would be up.
That has not been used since I've been here.
Okay.
That's great. Okay. Once again, there's some tough decisions going to be made here in the next year. There's a lot of things that need to happen, infrastructure and all that. Hopefully tonight, this bid approval, that was a big chunk of money. We're going to start working with some public awareness on our roads, on what direction we need to go with those. We may have to come up with a dedicated millage. Everybody wants a good road, so unfortunately we do not have the money, and the state will not be giving us the money, so we will have to do our own. If you looked at the last elections, there were several municipalities that passed their own millage for roads. So we're gonna be looking at that, and things are gonna get better.
And just to piggyback on what the mayor said, sidewalks as well.
Yeah,
That has to be part of our conversation as well.
that's our next nut to crack. So, having said all that, and I appreciate everyone and all being here, and all the hard work everyone does to bring all this to fruition for us to be here. And with that, I stand adjourned. We just about 5 minutes.